Welcome back to my podcast. Since we're in the midst of the holiday season, I thought I'd talk about some things that help me get through important dates that may be helpful to other grievers. These tips are not just for holidays, but all the special dates we go through regarding our lost loved ones. Birthdays, anniversaries, milestone dates, our own birthdays without them, and of course the anniversary date of the day we lost them. I can truly say that each of the occasions I previously listed are still very raw dates for me, going on to 2 years now since I lost my husband. This will be my second Christmas without my husband, and for 2 Christmases now, there have been no decorations, no trees, no Christmas movie watching, no partaking of Christmas. I'm still processing my grief and learning daily how to live with it a little better. Christmas is a big one for me because it was a big thing for us. Beyond celebrating Christmas Day with his family, Christmas Eve and morning was always our special time together. My husband loved Christmas like a big kid. I'm sure every griever has their own special memories, and every one of us has our own way of dealing with how to get through those days. These are days I've learned to honor my husband. So how do we honor our lost loved one? There are many things we can do that are special and can make us feel a little better on those days. I miss my husband tragically, and the subconscious part of me feels like he's always with me because we were attached at the hip when he was alive. So I feel his absence strongly every hour of every day. I talk to him all the time. I have to. It's what helps me get by. When I have my very dark days, and even though I'm not a depressed person, I still get those moments that just wham, grab my soul and won't let go, and I feel compelled to go visit his grave in those times. There's a certain sound of calm I feel when I'm there, and every time I leave, I ask him to send me a message with the first song I hear when I get back in the car, and it always happens. I typically don't have to go to my husband's grave to feel closer to him. I feel him closer to me at home. But yes, there are days when I lose my faith in my believing he's around, and those are what become my dark days. And on those days, I feel a bit better when I go visit him. That is our sacred ground, and it's an honor for me to stand on the ground he lies beneath. In spring-summer, I bring fresh flowers, new painted rocks, and even sometimes bring one of my favorite poetry books and sit and read some aloud while there. In fall-winter, I change the flowering plants to hardier plants that can sustain the cold and winter snow through the seasons. While we're still in the depths of our grief, we need to look for what can help us feel a bit better on those reminder dates. Sitting around crying all day isn't going to bring anyone back, so we have to find a way to maneuver our pain into something constructive. I can't even color in the lines, still. But I wanted to show the love for my husband creatively and began painting rocks. I got the idea from a post I featured from one of my We Are the World Blogfest Writers Group posts I shared a year or so ago. Once a month, our group shared something good or kind going on in the world to detract from some of the negativity. I came across this article about a little girl who started painting rocks of kindness sayings and leaving them anywhere for strangers to pick up. So I began making kindness rocks for my husband's graveside, painting words of love and acknowledgments and leaving them along the footer around his gravestone. I feel the love while making them, and leaving them as decoration speaks from my heart to anyone who sees them. I release my love onto these rocks that remain there, and it makes me feel better knowing anyone who sees his grave knows how much he was loved. This was a therapeutic project I discovered, even though I may have gone a little crazy making so many of them at first, but it's a great outlet and it makes me feel like I'm sending love cards to heaven. You can make rocks for every and any occasion you wish by gathering some rocks, washing them clean, and buying acrylic art pens to create with. Writing to our loved ones or about our loved ones in a letter, a poem, a book, a journal, whatever means we choose, also helps take some of the too many thoughts in my head and secures them on paper or computer. You don't have to do anything with it after if you don't want. You can keep the writing to go back to and revisit or add to, you can publish, or you can just burn it after it's served its purpose. Using creativity is a great outlet to express what we feel inside. I know a lot of people after loss have taken up a therapeutic art class, began dance lessons, or joined a church choir. Joining clubs or groups gives us a feeling of camaraderie, like we are with people from our tribe, people who share the same interests we do. Just as joining grief groups makes us feel part of a group of people who understand the depths of grief. There are many creative ways we can do something positive with our grief to help ease ourselves through it. For Christmas, you can honor their chair around the table by putting something they loved on their chair, honoring their place, which leaves a psychological feeling of comfort that they are there with us in spirit. Also, to keep them inclusive at a gathering, maybe each family member can tell a short story about them that brings smiles instead of tears. If I'm feeling intense grief blues, I like to call a friend because I know I can feel better if I talk to someone who allows me to talk about my husband, because somehow it just feels better talking to someone who knew them and knew our relationship with them. No matter our talents or lack of them, we can create things that have meaning to us and our loved one in whichever means we choose to. Whatever we feel in our hearts can be made into something beautiful, from writing to crafting. And by creating, we help to fill a tiny part of the void in our hearts. Keeping their spirit alive is the gift we'll continue to keep in our hearts. I'd like to take a moment to wish you all happy holidays, and for those grieving, wishing the new year tugs a little less at your grief and opens you up to softer landings. Happy holidays to all of you, and in the new year, I'll begin by talking about why some people abandon us in our time of grief, and condolences, the right and the wrong things to say.